Hola, ¿cómo estás? My name is Wyatt, L. Wyatt, if you prefer. This is Midnight Masterminds. We talk about movies. We're going to do reviews. We're going to talk about Venom and A Star is Born, the only two movies that came out this weekend that are cool. And if there was another one, sorry I slandered your film that I never heard about. And I'm here with my friends
Katimae.
And Tyler.
Wow.
What's up?
Lame. Anyway,
What's up?
let's start with the one that we're...
Is there an outline for this episode?
Yeah.
Can you send it to me?
No.
Okay.
No, there's not really... It's not really an outline.
Okay.
Because we're jumping right in pretty much, and there's like nothing.
Got it.
So we're just gonna keep going.
All right.
No outline today.
We're going off the page.
Off the grid.
We're just so fresh from seeing Venom. We think you guys need to hear about it now.
Yes.
There's no time to prep. Life is busy when you're busy being dumb. Next, Venom. That's quotes from the Beadle. Tyler, tell us the plot of Venom.
I don't want to right now.
The plot of Venom is...
Basically, Eddie Brock was a journalist in New York. Then he got kicked out of New York because of something that happened at the Daily
Planet
Bugle.
No, they didn't say Bugle.
I thought they said the Daily Globe.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
the Daily Globe.
The Daily Globe. I know that's what they said, but you know. So
and
anyway,
the astronaut in the front, by the way,
was
that died,
J.
was
Jonah
James'
Jameson's
son. And now that he's dead, they can't do Wolfman. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
So anyway, he's in San Francisco and he's in a relationship with a lady.
Michelle Williams from Halloween, H2O.
Yeah, man. And he has
nothing else.
And he has a news show where he's like the best investigative journalist on the planet.
On the planet right now.
On the planet. And then there's this guy, Riz Ahmed, is like, you know, you're pretty much your stereotypical corporate megalomaniac, and he's trying to save the world. I did air quotes just then. He's a lunatic, and Eddie Brock gets a chance to interview him, but it's a puff piece.
And he's not shy about calling himself God.
Yeah, he's definitely got a God complex, and it is the most obnoxiously, definitely there God complex.
Thing.
Overwritten in the yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Basically, Eddie Brock gets a puff piece to go interview him about their space program.
His boss throws him a softball and says, "Hey man, why don't you go hit this out of the park real quick?"
And Eddie Brock's girlfriend,
Michelle Williams from H2O,
has behind the scenes information on
wow.
Riz Ahmed's character.
Disrespectful to Venom.
Yes, on Riz Ahmed's character. So he hacks into her computer, gets that information, and goes and tries to be as controversial investigative journalist himself. And gets himself fired. He gets his girlfriend fired, and yeah, it's a bad time.
And that's the first 10 minutes of Venom.
Yep. And then basically, he gets Venom.
Yeah. So after that, we get a title card. It says 6 months later, and Eddie Brock is a loser.
Yeah, he's
self-described.
Yeah,
loser.
self-described loser.
And he drinks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't even get a job as a dishwasher. I want to say at this moment in time that I strongly feel that the movie should have just started here.
Yeah, I agree.
We would have been able to put together all the other bullshit without having to see it.
Agree.
And if that's ever the case, don't put it in. Because it was cringy.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of this movie are everything that the people who described it like as Catwoman thought it was for the
I
whole
felt
time.
like I was watching Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Mona Lisa shows up.
Yeah, Mona Lisa. More money, please!
The worst. She's the worst.
From Parks and Rec. Jenny Slate is in the movie. Also plays a character named Mona Lisa in Parks and Rec, where she's the worst human being on the planet. It's hilarious.
The worst.
Yeah.
My Parks and Rec fans will get that. My visual cooking fans will
Anyway,
get
so
that.
yeah, for sure. Anyway, Jenny Slate or Mona Lisa, whatever you would like to call her, she finds Eddie Brock and is like, "Hey, you're not
Missy. She's also Missy.
Yeah, you're not afraid of super crazy investigative journalism. I found people getting murdered and shit."
Oh, by the way, we completely missed a part. The movie opens with the spaceship crash.
Yeah.
They found a comet and they get these symbiote.
There's a planet.
No, there's a comet.
A comet.
Was a comet?
It's a comet.
Fuck me, I've seen this movie twice.
They were coming home, and then they saw the comet.
And they
found you.
Yeah.
You did not
And
find
the comet
us.
Exactly.
life
That was a
on
really good impression.
And they were like,
Thank you.
"Wow, that comet got life."
That comet got aliens.
Takens. And
So they take a whole bunch of symbiotes.
Mhm.
And
You did not take
one of them
me.
gets out and invades a paramedic. Well, JJ's kid, J. Jonah Jameson's kid, and then invades a paramedic.
Yeah, basically the riot symbiote is just jumping around.
Don't say
body
his
to body.
name.
Well, it's in the fucking trailer.
Don't say his name.
Wow, you're dumb. Anyway.
He must not be named.
Yeah, it's in the trailer.
I know. And then
He's jumping around from body to body trying to get back to San Francisco so that he can take off in his spaceship, and then once he's in the spaceship, he'll go back to his planet and bring back all the other symbiotes, and then they're going to eat all the human beings.
Yep.
They're going to eat us up.
That was the plan.
Yep. And then Venom was going to help him out. They were on the same team, and then Venom was like, "Man, I like this Eddie Brock guy. I think I'm going to try and be his boyfriend." And I don't even know if that joke is not
It's
serious.
a little more accurate than you might think.
It's the best bromance of the year, I would say.
Seriously, I would agree, and it's funny because it's just Tom Hardy and himself.
So
having a really great
that's
bromance.
basically the plot. Jenny Slate brings him back in.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna definitely give our reviews before we get really spoilery, but we're gonna get spoilery.
We'll let you know when. But
We'll let you know
basically,
when.
Jenny Slate brings him back into the Life Foundation and is like, "Hey, report on this stuff because it's really gross."
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he gets infected with the Venom thing, and then he has to. Basically, Venom is like, "I like you, Eddie Brock. You're a cool guy. Help me stop Riot from going back to that planet and bringing back all of my homies to eat this planet up." And Eddie's like, "Sure."
Yeah, it's pretty much
So
how it
now
goes.
you know this plot. That was really, man. We restarted telling that like 3 times.
Yeah.
Review time, Katie Mae. What'd you think? Because you're trying to whisper a word over there.
Well, can I just say that I think Michelle
I
Williams.
think Michelle Williams is good. She gives good performance. I watched her movie 8 times. Michelle Williams.
She best Hollywood actress.
I think she was way too harsh on him. Didn't even want to talk it out. It was just like, fuck you.
I
See,
kind of on her
I think
side.
that's funny. I'm totally on her side.
He totally did
Ruined
not-
her entire life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it was a little.
Maybe like, we're engaged, but I'm not going to talk to you. You ruined my life. Here's your ring back, idiot.
Hey, thank you
Just-
for costing me my job
And
and
my
also
own-
your job.
And my career and my reputation.
I don't know.
I mean, Tom Hardy is pretty cute.
I feel like you could at least try to figure it out instead of just automatically being like, we're done. Like, how serious were you really about him then?
Well, pretty serious. They were engaged.
What if I went into Best Buy and was like, "You should fire Katie Mae. She's the worst," and they were like, "You're right."
And then
You
you're like,
lost
you
your
should
job.
tell every other corporation that you shouldn't hire her because she's the worst.
And they were all. She was like, "Okay, that make you a little upset, right?"
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd just be like, we're done.
Well, at least I know how much leash I have.
Wow, yeah.
All right.
I think in Michelle Williams' case, though, she was like a really good, like, hotshot lawyer with a great job. And Eddie Brock didn't even think about it.
I'm not saying that he did the right thing, because he
Oh, absolutely
did
didn't.
not.
No way. I didn't think you were either.
But she was just a little like, ugh. And then every time throughout the movie, she was like,
Well, for the people at home wondering what the fuck we're
maybe
talking
in the
about.
future.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, Eddie Brock and Michelle Williams is a lawyer of some kind, and after this spaceship thing happened and it crashed, she was supposed to be investigating some type of claim that somebody
The
was
wrongful
making.
death claim against
Yeah.
all the astronauts that died.
So Eddie Brock, she left her computer open. He knows her password. He gets inside. Now he's a reporter about to interview the guy who owns the company that this supposedly happened at. So he looks at it. He's like, "Huh, that's interesting. I'm going to ask him about this." which is not good because it was all confidential, sent only to her.
Yep.
So as soon as he asked those questions, they knew exactly who the fuck it came from.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's a big moral quandary of the film. But let's, if we could politely breeze over that.
Yeah.
And talk about the film
rest
as
of the
a
movie.
whole. What do we think here, gang?
I liked it. I also
Katimae, I liked it.
shared the same love for tater tots, and that movie just makes me want to go get tater tots.
Venom loves tater tots.
He does. He likes tater tots.
And chocolate.
Yes.
What do you think, Tyler? Tell us about
It's really
this
funny.
film.
I was super hyped before all the reviews started coming in. Then I was hyped for a different reason, and I'm satisfied. I had so much fun. It's not good. It is so not good as a movie. Like, objectively, as a craft, not good. I mean, Venom looks great, and Tom Hardy carried the entire movie. But it's not good. That being said,
Yeah.
I had so much fun.
It felt like I was watching the first Ghost Rider, like the one with Nicolas Cage.
But, like, a good version of that movie.
And the movie's not good.
No.
But it has like a small scale and small like scope, right? It's very much a monster type movie.
Yep.
That's why I say it feels like watching Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
But also in terms of just like the way it uses like ridiculous rock and rap music at really weird times.
Oh, yeah, that was
It
just
like
so
pulls it in.
2000s.
It's so
That-
random and weird.
Oh, man. I will say, anybody who is comparing this movie to Catwoman from the early 2000s
They're a little misguided.
has not seen Catwoman.
I
don't
want to
think.
say
that movie is unforgivable
Yeah.
in every regard. There's nothing redeemable about that at all. This movie is really great. It just has a really badly written script.
Yeah, so this
I really like Catwoman.
Katimae is over here. You've offended me, sir.
Sorry.
That was my jam when that came out. I had that in DVR. I'd watch that every day after school.
Great.
I had to skip through all the commercials.
Every day that you pull the curtain back more on whether or not we're gonna ever understand Katimae.
And we're rocketing quickly towards the.
So here's
I also really liked Elektra.
so here's my take. This
Less understandable.
this
I have
movie
to say.
definitely belongs in the early 2000s.
Sure.
But
I would have DVR'd it.
it's really weird. Dialogue aside, if you were to take Tom Hardy out of this movie, it would just be a boring CGI mess of nothing.
Absolutely, yes.
He brings so much charm and fun and energy to the movie that you're just captivated by
Yes.
it. And captivated in the sense that how can a movie that is definitely really bad be entertaining me this much?
Right?
And then you have to ask yourself the question, if a movie is entertaining me this much, is it really bad?
Nope.
Then you start to question what you know about film in general, and you walk out thinking, who am I? it's so...
Who are we?
Yeah,
You alright, man? Do you
It's
want
such a strange
Why
experience.
are you thinking so hard about this?
Are you-
I'm not thinking so hard about it. It unthought me.
Are you okay?
It
Like, do you want to talk about it?
It unraveled what I know about the
I know, like,
universe.
do you want to...
No, I don't want to... I'm trying to talk about it now, and you're fucking interrupting me.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
Yeah. Neither of you are sorry.
I'm not sorry.
I am. Though.
Exactly. I think people are being way too hard on this movie.
Absolutely they are.
If you have to analyze, if someone is telling you that you have to analyze it from a storytelling perspective, from a dialogue perspective, of course it's weird and it's cheesy and it's hammy. I'm pretty sure Ruben Fleischer, the director, read the script and was like, "Oh, I gotta make this." Okay. Woo. Well, if Sony's not gonna budge, I'm gonna make this as fun to look at and as entertaining as possible.
Yes.
So, and I think he delivered on that. I think without Ruben Fleischer and without Tom Hardy, this movie would have just been CGI goop being drenched all over your head.
Mm-hmm.
But the combination of those two guys together, they seem to work really well together. Ruben Fleischer just letting Tom Hardy be a madman. And it's fun, man. Go see it. Don't let
Absolutely.
people's opinion taint you.
Seriously. This is a perfect example of why you should have people that do reviews that you trust, but like really make your own decisions and have your own opinions on movies. Because like if you just trusted the critical response to this movie,
Yep.
you wouldn't see it. And thankfully, almost no one seems to be listening to the critics because
What?
it's making a lot of money.
Oh, yes. This movie is making buttloads of cash right now. So, He just said because.
I knew what he was going. I knew what he wanted.
wasn't
I
following
threw
your
you the
thread at
fattest
all.
fucking meatball.
I wasn't following
He
your
was
thread
like-
at all.
It just smacked you in the face. You're like, why'd you throw a meatball at my head, man?
I'm saucy now.
Yeah.
Basically, domestically, Venom made in the first 3 days about $80 million, which is the biggest October opening ever.
That's ridiculous.
So that's crazy
Of
already.
all the Octobers.
Yeah, every October, Katimae. That's what ever means. Anyway.
This is a hostile Midnight Mastermind so far.
Fuck.
And then overseas, it
Like,
made...
of all the years?
No, actually. It excludes 1998.
Oh, alright, that
Fun
makes
fact.
sense.
Does it really?
Yeah,
Was
the
it a
word
good
ever
year?
excludes anything that happened in 1998.
Really?
Yep.
Awesome.
So overseas, it made $125 million, which brings it to a total of $205 million.
Which is dumb.
Which is nuts.
That's stupid.
For a movie this bad, I don't get it, but
It
it's
opened on Friday.
but it's so
It already doubled its.
I'm just glad that people are enjoying it, and it seems that people are like, for example, when Scott Pilgrim vs. the World came out,
Ugh.
it had like a rough response right away. You should not do that around here, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
might get hurt.
Well, both she went ugh, and Wyatt and I both just shot over.
Like what?
I don't like that movie. I find it extremely boring.
Like, I just want to get my thought out.
You like Catwoman? Your opinion is kind of, well, it's foggy, and I'll fight you about it. Do you want a fist fight?
No,
Okay.
I will in a few months after I bulked up.
All right. The date is set. Katimae versus Tyler.
Few months.
Few months. 2000 something or other.
That's-
All right, Wyatt. Continue your thought.
Can I?
Yeah.
I'm afraid to start talking because you guys are going to do that thing whenever I get derailed that I start to talk again and you find a way to interrupt again on purpose.
No, I promise I won't.
When that movie first came out, it was not received very well critically, and nobody went to go see it. Nobody.
Which movie were we talking about?
Scott Pilgrim vs.
Right.
Absolutely no one went to go see it. It made no money, and everybody was like, is this a bad movie? I don't get it. And,
Uh-huh.
and now it has like a cult classic status.
Well, didn't it get released online? Didn't it suffer a little, or am I?
Well, it suffered from piracy for sure.
I swear it got released early and people.
No.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I don't know what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
But,
Mm.
yeah, the only thing about that movie is that the initial reaction wasn't super great, and then nobody went to go see it. And because no one went to go see it, they never got to make another one, and Edgar Wright was in, like, limbo for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this movie had the same sort of thing, where initially nobody was like, oh my god, it's so much fun. Everyone was saying, this is the worst movie ever made,
Mhm.
calling it the room of superhero movies.
I know.
And it's broken all these records, and now it's made $205 million.
So I will
I'm
say
glad about that.
there were. So you remember last week, or was it? It was last week. We were talking about the people who wanted to see A Star Is Born, who were intentionally writing bad reviews.
We didn't talk about it on the podcast. It was like the next day.
Right.
So we talked last week about the Russian bots that were created to make over 50% of the negative criticism towards The Last Jedi and release it that way.
Yeah.
This wasn't necessarily bots as it was bots, but it's they're pointing the finger at Lady Gaga fans specifically who
Yes.
want people to go see A Star Is Born instead of Venom. Pretended like they had seen the movie or had early reactions and created a bunch of bots to say that Venom is garbage.
Yeah.
Not because we love Russia, but because we love Lady Gaga.
Yeah. Which, like, first of all, I don't know how much crossover there is between people who like Lady Gaga and people who are going to go see Venom.
Yeah.
Me?
So sure, I'm sure it exists. But
There's
does
not a lot of
one being good mean you're not going to see the other one? That's the thing that I hate about these people. They're like, they're Lady Gaga fans, sure. So they're assuming that people will only ever see one movie.
Yeah.
Like, what? You can see both. It doesn't matter.
No, you have to see only A Star Is Born every day in October.
Well, what's funny is
It's
that
the law.
A Star Is Born, for what it cost to make, still is raking in dough as well. It made $42.6 million off only 3,600 screens. And for a movie that small, that's a big deal.
We can get more into that later when we're done with Venom.
I mean, that's pretty much it's it. All the box office. That's it for the weekend. Those were the only two movies that came out.
Oh, sure.
But
I want to talk spoilery stuff for Venom real quick.
All right, now this is the
gonna-
the part sirens. If you don't want spoilers, stop here. All right,
Yeah, that was your last warning.
go Tyler.
Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy made my heart so happy. And even though he had a stupid Ronald McDonald wig on.
Yeah, what the fuck is with that wig?
I liked it.
That's the weirdest looking shitty wig.
Did he write "Welcome Eddie Brock" in poop?
No, it's blood. Man.
All right.
Did you think he was writing in poop?
Well, it was PG.
What?
It was brown. It looked. I don't know.
It wasn't brown. It was
We were in
dry
IMAX,
blood.
and I was 4 feet away from the screen.
Oh, that was not IMAX.
That was LFX, you motherfucker.
That's what I said. We were at LFX, and I was 1.5 feet away from the screen, so my eyes were crossed. I apologize. But anyway,
Wow.
Woody Harrelson is Cletus Cassidy. I love it.
Excellent casting.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
have loved to see what Jim Carrey would have done with it if he took the job.
Sure, but he would never.
But dude, I'll never not look at him weird.
I know, that fucking weird
Dude,
wig.
it's so like when they do the sequel, because it's making so much money, I can't imagine that they don't
Oh
do
yeah,
a
there's
sequel.
no way they're
It'd
not.
be dumb.
Yeah,
Also, it's doing so well. Maybe Marvel's like, hey,
I don't think so.
do you want Venom to be in the MCU?
I don't think they're gonna
I think
do
people
that.
want Venom in the MCU.
I think
How cool.
you're real reaching here.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I think
that's a
you're
big
both
reach.
no fun.
Well, because they can put their own version of Venom in the movie, but Marvel wants to do everything themselves,
Sure.
right? So they can use Spider-Man and all his characters as much as they want to. They'll just get their own Venom, I think. If they even want to go that route, which I'm sure if there is going to be a Venom verse, that they're not going to want to do that. But anyway, if they do, / when they do a sequel, if they don't fix this wig situation, it's going to be really hard for me to pay attention.
Absolutely.
Because it's so
Distracted.
bad.
It's so bad. It
But-
looks like it looks like a Party City Ronald McDonald
Yeah,
wig that they
man.
just put on fucking Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, it's not. But what's sad is that he's doing a great job.
Oh, he's
right?
terrifying.
Yeah.
I was intimidated.
Yeah.
And creeped out.
He's he's from Natural Born Killers.
But then I looked at his wig,
That's what
and I
made-
didn't care anymore.
Well, yeah, you're looking at him and you're like, oh shit, they could not have picked a perfect person who's already proved that they can play a crazy serial killer. And then they slapped this goofy ass wig on him. It's like, how am I supposed to be frightened of this? But anyway,
I think you guys are being too hard on the wig.
No.
on the wig,
No
I
way.
liked it.
I will not flex on that.
No, I-
absolutely not.
He has that kind of hair in the comics. They just need to figure out a way to make it less.
Well, yeah, well, duh. Why else would they put that wig on him? What if he
Less-
didn't? What if he just had short brown hair and they're like, no, I found this wig. Put this on him.
Or like some poor PA who's never heard of Carnage before is working on 2 different movies. For
Yeah.
one, they're doing a Ronald McDonald like history of Ronald McDonald.
Or like the Founder too.
Yeah, and Venom, and then the real Cletus Cassidy wig is just on Ronald McDonald for some
And
reason.
they brought it in, and he just walked it right up to Woody Harrelson, and Woody Harrelson's like, "Are you sure about this, kid?" It's like,
It's
"Yeah."
not my ass.
You sure? He's like, "Yeah, I'm sure, Mr. Harrelson."
This is the one the guy gave me, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the fuck out of this. I just want you to know that I don't think this is the one.
No, it's definitely the real wig. But what I will say is Venom didn't need to be R. People complaining that it wasn't.
No,
Somewhat justified, but at the same
I
time...
there
there wasn't
If you-
any point
I thought
that
it was rated R.
Oh,
There wasn't any point when I was watching it that I thought, man, this would be better if it was rated R.
yeah,
You know what I
like,
mean?
you don't need to see Venom biting someone's head off to know he bit someone's head off. That being said, if they make the next one involve Carnage,
Which they teased it. They fucking better.
if you don't make that one R, you're, like, flirting with disaster, I think.
What if Woody Harrelson was just around like the studio and they're like, "Hey, gotta film this end credit. You just want to do this?" And
Jim
he's like,
Carrey's here, but we think he's an asshole. Do you want to do this?
Well, he's Woody
Yeah,
was
all
somewhere
right.
else. Maybe he was shooting Solo nearby.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, man,
I was wondering...
want to just
yeah.
come on over?"
You want to know how forgettable, even though it's not terrible, but how forgettable Solo is? So we just watched that like a week ago,
Mhm.
and I was sitting here thinking about why Woody Harrelson was so fresh in my head.
You couldn't even.
I
Figure
couldn't
out
remember that Solo had, like, we watched Solo.
Don't be hard on Solo.
It's fine. It's just so painfully forgettable.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I found just now,
Oh,
I found a Ruben Fleischer, director of Venom, quote about Carnage.
Uh-huh.
I haven't read it yet, so you're getting it fresh
Okay.
from my mouth to your ears.
we're never using Carnage for real.
Wow, that's it, yeah.
Oh shit.
He says that we'd like to think that this movie will expand to other movies, and Carnage is, I think, the most beloved of Venom adversaries.
You think?
That,
Name one other Venom adversary.
I'm just going to continue reading the quote if that's cool.
Oh sure. Sorry, I thought you were done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
With the exception of probably Spider-Man, Fleischer said, and so we definitely don't want to include Carnage in the first movie because it felt like we wanted to establish Eddie and Venom, and that's why we weren't having Riot in as our main adversary. But the intention or ambition was to show that there are legs for the franchise, and that a fan favorite, let alone Woody Harrelson, would be something that we could look forward to, which makes sense. So basically, they wanted to see that, you know, can Venom just be interesting enough on his own, which I would venture to say is the only interesting
absolutely,
thing.
yeah.
So
if you proved anything,
I actually wanted more.
If you proved anything with this, it's that Venom plays well.
Yeah, he plays super well. Now give us Woody Harrelson and Carnage.
Yes. Do you think there is any way you can work Tom Holland into a movie with this Venom?
Yes.
You mean the Tom Holland? Because it's Tom H. I chose combining Hardy.
It took a lot of willpower for me to not do the same thing. Don't worry about it.
Man. Could it be done? Yes, they won't.
Sure.
I'm putting all my money down to say that it won't happen. But could it work? Yeah. But because Marvel is so fine-tuned in what they're doing, I don't think they ever let Tom Holland near a Spider-Man movie or a Venom movie without them having total control over Venom, what he does, who's playing him, the story.
Sure.
Seeing as they could make a clean Venom story with Spider-Man in it, there's no reason why they wouldn't just do that. They wouldn't take this weird, amalgamation of things that's almost the Venom story, save for Spider-Man, and just pretend Spider-Man was here the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did like that. So, historically, Venom happens because Spider-Man gets the symbiote first, sheds it, and it finds Eddie Brock. Yep. That's why their powers are so similar in a lot of the comics.
Well, that's why he looks like him.
He has the white S on his chest in the comics. But in this...
The white S?
Sorry, not S. Spider. The white spider.
A Venom Superman crossover.
That's fucked up.
I'm sure that exists.
It's terrifying.
I wonder... I'm going to Google it.
Anyway.
Sorry, continue with your thought.
Anyway, I like that they proved that he can work and his powers make sense and he's cool and entertaining without the Spider-Man element. Like, he didn't have webs of any kind. He wasn't, web swinging. Mm-hmm. You know, he didn't have the spider on his chest. He's just a blob of symbiote.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Well, instead of having webs and whatnot, he just used tendrils, which is not a stretch.
No, not at all.
And there's a lot of art on here with Venom Superman.
I'm not surprised, dude.
It's pretty cool.
Oh my god.
It's creepy.
She-Venom was pretty cool.
Yes, so She-Venom shows up. That was great.
One of the critics who were angry about it, or angry about Venom in general, said, "Oh, and there's a part where Eddie Brock and Venom make out," and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be weird." And I was worried it was gonna be that part where Venom detached from Eddie Brock and was hanging out in front of him and hovering around.
Weird,
I thought it was gonna be some weirdly intimate
molestery.
I thought he was gonna.
Molester.
I thought he was.
You're a molesterer.
I thought that was how Eddie. I thought that was how Venom was gonna re-enter Eddie's system.
Yeah.
And I was a little creeped out by that because that's weird.
It's creepy.
But then
he was She-Venom.
She-Venom shows up, aka what's her name again?
Michelle Williams from H2O. 20 years later, Michael Myers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one when she shows up later on to give the symbiotes back to Eddie Brock, they make out to do it, and it was really funny.
I did not expect to see a She-Venom.
No, me neither. And
she looked
great. She looked great.
Yeah, it looks good.
She looked great.
I'm all about this. I want to see a whole shared universe of just shitty Venom movies,
but that are like this kind of shitty.
Yeah, this was fun, man. This was a good time. I don't have much more to say about it other than it was a good time and just chill out about it. I don't know.
Sure.
Take a chill pill.
We're gonna transition into something else. I'm gonna let Katimae take point on, and that's A Star Is Born, directed by one Bradley Cooper. I also found out that he wrote all his own music for that as well.
Did he really?
Yes.
Shit. Wow.
Lady Gaga helped him sort of learn how to perform and whatnot, but he wrote the music that his character plays, which is super interesting.
That's impressive as hell.
Yep.
I'm really not taken aback. What's the word for it? I don't know. It surprised me how well he sings and musically and all that.
He did. He did.
I didn't see that coming.
At least for me, because in the trailer it's the best song, right? The best. For me in the movie, and I'll let Katimae give the rundown and talk about it and do all that stuff because it's not fair for me to talk about it because I really feel like I didn't watch the first 45 minutes. I'll tell you why if you really want to know.
Oh my god.
Tyler wants to talk about it. It's just insane. But for some movies that like you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit in terms of if it's an actor who is singing, and you have to suspend your disbelief in thinking that this guy could be a mega like rock star, right? That to me is like tough sometimes. I can get into the Greek, for example. Like Russell Brand is a good singer,
but he's
and
auto-tuned.
The music is good
To hell.
Oh yeah,
in
his
that movie.
his music is like the music in the movie is good.
Yep.
But they make him seem like he is like the fucking Beatles.
Yeah.
And so you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit and be like, that's the bar in this universe.
Yep.
I kind of felt that way here too. Like Bradley Cooper is good, and I would listen to it on the radio or something. But to make him seem like he is freaking, I don't know.
John Lennon.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. Paul
To me.
McCartney might be a better.
Well, no, I mean, think of a famous country star. I don't know. Who's a famous
Garth
country
Brooks.
star? To imagine him at the level that Mr. Garth Brooks is at right now, with that voice is not quite too believable. He's good though.
Yeah.
He's good. Continue. Sorry, go ahead, Katie.
Oh.
Tell us the story of A Star Is Born in order, if you don't mind.
Okay, Star is Born. 2018. So, Bradley Cooper is on stage, and Lady Gaga is at a restaurant. And then Bradley Cooper's like, I need more alcohol, so he stops at this bar that Lady Gaga's performing at after.
I'm already lost. I saw the movie and I don't even know where we are in this story.
Basically, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga meet in a drag bar, and he's like, wow, I really like your nose.
And basically picks her nose.
And then she's like, I wrote some songs. Do you want to hear them while we ice my hand in this parking lot?
Because
He's
she
like,
punched a guy.
Oh.
Like someone was trying to take pictures of Bradley Cooper,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "No, man, don't do that. I don't like that." And he was like, "Oh, come on, man, be cool." And she was like, "Hey, fuck you, buddy!" And like punched him in the face. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Way to go, Lady Gaga.
So, and then they go on tour together, but then Lady Gaga gets like more famous than he is. And he's
he
an
fades into
alcoholic.
obscurity pretty
And
quick.
That's the movie, really. I'm not gonna spoil it.
I mean, it's a movie that's been made 4 times at this point. I don't know if it's too spoilery to say what the hell happens in the end. Is it too spoilery?
Well, here's a spoiler
All right.
alert.
Do you want to hear it, Tyler? Do you want to cover your ears?
Nah, I don't give a shit. Let's go.
At the
He
very
kills
end,
himself.
he hangs himself in the garage.
Oh.
Yes.
And then it's a beautiful song at the end about love.
Yes.
Fuck.
So, this movie is getting a ton of attention and a ton of hype, and I will say that it deserves it, because, dude, there are moments when you totally forget that Bradley Cooper's even in the movie. And he's
Yeah.
the star, wrote the songs, and directed it, and you forget his involvement entirely.
Mm-hmm.
He really does disappear into that character.
So,
And he's doing an excellent Sam Elliott impression. And then Sam Elliott walks around the corner, and you're like, what the fuck? It's really weird. But then, they're brothers, so you immediately, your brain goes, that was intentional, don't give him a hard time about it. Oh, okay, cool.
so
Go ahead, Katie, man.
I was really hyped for this movie, and the more I think about it, the more I don't like it that much.
Ooh, that's harsh. Coming from the woman who loves musicals.
I
Hot.
love Lady Gaga, and I like Bradley Cooper.
What are they called? Monsters? Or what are her
Yeah,
friends called?
little monsters.
Little monsters? She's a little monster.
And when those two are doing like their own scenes, like if it's
Amazing.
just Lady Gaga or just Bradley
Lady
Cooper,
Gaga was amazing, by the way.
amazing.
Her
But when
performance.
they are together, it is weird, and I do not like it.
Yeah.
I do not like it.
Everyone's
it's like,
talking about their chemistry. But
I don't get it.
I don't feel the sparks.
I
man.
don't. I feel like it's so forced.
I want to talk about my feelings on why I think there's no sparks. So, Bradley Cooper's been in the film industry for a really long time. But one of the things you learn early on, like in film school, is that you can figure out who's an amateur and who's not with a couple different things. And usually you can pick someone who hasn't made a movie before or is at least a novice at it when they don't establish setting or time very well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you watch the movie, the reason I wasn't feeling the chemistry, at first I really was. Almost in like a creepy kind of way, like Bradley Cooper really comes on hard to her. At first she doesn't seem like she likes it all that much, and then she kind of lets her guard
I
down.
thought that was really cringy.
He was a little creepy the way
Like,
he was
he
just
was
not
like-
letting up.
like, you're so beautiful. I love your nose. You're amazing.
Like that
I was
whole nose scene, that was within like 5 minutes of meeting her.
Oh.
Yeah. And now that it's in context, that scene's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, now I don't like it. I love that trailer, but now that I know that.
Yeah. And it goes on for way too long.
They're talking about her nose for a while. But anyway.
And then they bring it out throughout the movie, like, all the fucking time.
So here's my point. That can be how people meet. That's them. You know, I'm not here to judge. Like, whatever, right? That's how they meet. They like each other. They're into that. Very fine. But when the movie ends, you get the feeling that maybe 2 months has passed. But your intuition and your, I don't know, sense of how time actually works kicks in, and you start to put the pieces together. You're like, wait a minute. This has to have been over at least 3 or 4 years, maybe, because they meet and she goes on stage and performs with him. That feels like it's about 2 to 3 days, which it probably was. Mm-hmm. And so the way they're acting just seems like young love, right? Puppy love.
Yeah.
Because it's the first couple days. And then she meets a manager, and she gets her own tour. And that's about 5 to 10 minutes later in the movie almost.
And she's on tour with him at one point,
yeah,
too.
So
like,
you're
I don't
thinking,
even know the timeline.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is they're still in that sort of puppy love sort of phase, but you haven't seen much dimensions to their relationship. They have like an argument or two, but they make up like immediately. And you're sitting there going like, okay, maybe they're still the puppy love phase, but then because no one looks any different, Lady Gaga still looks the same, Bradley Cooper still looks the same, you're looking at them in like the hotel room, right? They're at like a party at it was either his tour or her tour, and I'm still feeling like this is a week later. But it has to have been at least a year or so later, because there's no way that she could have made an album, cut it, been on a tour in like 2 weeks' time. It's not possible. And also for her to be popular enough to even have a tour. Yep. So you're 2 years later, but in my head, it still feels like we're a week later.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it was like the fact that they start to then treat the relationship like it's this, 2-year-old relationship. But because I can't get past the fact that it feels like 2 weeks later, I feel like they're cheating. Mm-hmm. That they're just cheating in like, oh, they like each other, just believe us. You know what I mean? You don't get to see it.
Sure.
There's not a whole lot of evidence. If they had done something like put a streak of gray in his hair or have his beard be varying lengths or something, you'd have an idea that a lot of time has passed.
Sure.
But you never get that
or
sense.
Even just a little time card.
Yeah.
But
and
also,
I don't even know where they are half the movie.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I talked about time and setting. Yeah. A lot of times they'll just change location. There's not like establishing shots or any clear idea of like what city they're in. What like, are they in a hotel room? Are they in a green room? Are they in a house? Someone's apartment? Whose house? The only like house that I recognized was Lady Gaga's dad's house. They spent a little bit of time in there. Otherwise, I was like really like when they went to live in their house in the end of the movie. I didn't know that was their house. Like so basically they move together. They move into a house together, and that's sort of like their home after Bradley Cooper gets out of rehab, right? His brother drops him off, and they have great character stuff. Like the character stuff between Sam Elliott and Bradley Cooper is amazing. Like the character stuff is so fucking good. It's great. But then he drops him off at this house. I'm like, what house is this? Whose house is that? Whose truck is that? Why is he just walking in? And then they talked about the best guitar player in blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, is he at a guitar player's house? And I'm only catching those bits of it. And then he walks in and she's there. I'm like, what's she doing there? Are they just going here to like record or practice or something? And it took me like 5 or 10 minutes to realize, is this their fucking house?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that they were in their own fucking house.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that I feel like 2, maybe 3 movies later, Bradley Cooper's gonna get really good at. Yeah. But for this movie, like,
that's the only thing I didn't like about the movie.
I kept trying to like fucking figure out where I was in either time and space. And it took away from the character stuff for me. But also, I don't think it's fair for me to really judge this movie too hard because my experience in the beginning of the movie, basically I couldn't watch the first 45 minutes of the movie because apparently I was sitting in someone else's seat.
I'm just going to go ahead and say real quick, for all of our lovely listeners, that's probably the end of our reviews of these 2 movies.
Yes.
Wyatt's about to tell a story.
I'll tell a story.
And I want him to tell the story because that's what we're going to talk about for a while after you tell the story, is film theater etiquette.
Ooh, I like this.
But otherwise, that's our reviews. Thank you for listening. Wyatt.
Well, first I want to make sure that before I tell the story, is it going to upset Katimae because she's over there looking all pissed off that it's been brought up.
I just think you're being a little dramatic about
Oh.
We'll get
you
into
weren't
it.
there.
No, we'll get into
it.
it.
I was there.
You weren't right next to this guy. For the whole
I
movie.
mean, I know, but I'm just saying the beginning of it.
Well, the beginning of it was whatever. That's
Yeah.
not what irritated me.
We'll
So,
get in. Well, here we go.
the beginning of it was fine. Like, we're basically, these two dudes had purchased these two seats, and it was assigned seating, but because they weren't there, I guess they had filled in a little bit. So we counted. We were supposed to have 4 seats, so we just sat in the 4 remaining seats. We didn't even bother to look at the numbers. Other people had pushed in.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out Katimae's friend Sarah had returned her ticket, so we were one over that we were supposed to be, or something like that.
Got it.
But in my mind, I'm totally in my seat. So this guy comes over, and I want to say like the 2 rows in front of us were like pretty open. You can just go and sit.
Empty.
Yeah. So
And we're 20 minutes into the movie.
yeah, at this point it's like 25 minutes into this movie, and these guys walk in both double fisting drinks, which it's not super important, but I could already smell alcohol in their breath to begin with, so they weren't being, I don't know, kind.
Sure.
They were walking in, and they walk in front of me while I'm watching the movie, and one guy stops and just eyeballs me, and I'm like, what? What? And he's like, I think you're in my seat. I'm like, I think you're wrong there, friend. This is my seat. And we pull out our tickets and show him, and he's looking, and maybe he just didn't like what he was seeing, or he couldn't tell, or whatever. So he went to the theater, like someone from management, got the management in, and the management started ticket checking everybody from the beginning of the row all the way up to us. Figured out where the split was supposed to have happened. Turns out he was supposed to be sitting directly next to me. Made everyone in the seat, like the rows, like I would have said like 10 people had to get up 25 minutes into this movie and move down just because they didn't want to sit one row down. Which again, if you really are like into this movie, you're determined about those seats, you have a bad neck, I'm sympathetic to all those things. Wasn't gonna throw a big fit about it. I was a little annoyed that I had to keep looking away to like talk to the manager and talk to this guy and had like flashlights in my fucking face or whatever, right? That would have been all fine. I would have let it go. But next to me, he's on his phone for the whole goddamn movie. Like every 2 minutes, he's picking up his phone. So sometimes he'd leave it in his lap, and then he'd pick it up and text. And then sometimes he put it back in his pocket. But because of the type of theater that it was in, each pair of seats was like a love seat. So I'm in a love seat with this dude. We're sharing an armrest. And every time he moved, he would bump the armrest and like my arm would fall off so that he could put his phone away. And then it would fall off again so that he could text again. In the whole, I was going to lose my mind. Like, if you have an emergency text, it's kind of a weird theater because everything's so love-seaty and loungy that I get it. You don't want to like get up and go all the way to but he was just texting his buddy or whatever. And then he gets up, so after he's sitting down for about 30 minutes, he leaves the theater for like 35 minutes so that he could go to the bar and get more drinks and come back. So by my numbers, this dude has missed almost half the entire movie and texted through the other half. If you were going to do that from the beginning, why throw a big fit about where you sit?
Yeah.
It was so, but like, because that was going on about the first 45 minutes, I was like, what the fuck is what's going on right now?
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to pay attention to the beginning of the movie. Maybe I would have liked it more if I was like more focused. So I do want to see it again just so I can see,
Sure.
is that really an impact?
Sure.
It was just like outrageous to me. You could act like that.
Yeah, I don't approve of that.
No.
The whole texting. It's like,
I will forgive everybody in the theater for texting on their phone one time.
yes.
Like if it's in the middle of the movie and it's a quick one and you just gotta do it real quick, I'll forgive I don't do it, but I won't throw a fit. But if it's 2, 3, 4 times, I will lean forward and be like, hey man, that's really distracting.
So I remember when we went to see Dunkirk. Me, Brian, and James went to go see Dunkirk.
Oh, they said we and looking at me, I'm like, I wasn't even living here.
You're right.
That
Sorry.
movie came out.
Brian, James, and I went to go see Dunkirk. And is that Harry Styles is the one that's in that
Yeah,
one?
he's in that.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sorry, I get them all mixed up. But
I didn't know.
I don't know them.
I didn't know it was Harry Styles until I left the movie.
Yeah,
And I was reading online, Harry Styles did a great job. I was like, he was in that fucking movie?
Yeah.
And then I realized I don't even know what he looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I was surprised was
Yeah.
like, why are you surprised that you didn't recognize someone you've never seen before?
It's irrelevant. But like we were all hanging out and enjoying the movie, right? And these girls were sitting in front of us and they're like leaning around and giggling and talking to each other, right?
Probably just bored because it's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
But it's a little. Sometimes Chris Nolan movies are a little hard to click into.
Sure, absolutely. They can be a bit of a slog if you're not really invested.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, one of the more Harry Stylesy scenes came up, and these girls pull out their cell phones and start recording
That's a Regal.
Just the Harry Styles stuff.
Okay.
And like laughing and like, oh my god, there he is. And then like recording and I'm like, oh boy. Because like the way recording on an iPhone works is it shows you the playback.
Mm-hmm.
So they just held up their iPhones and blinded everybody in the rows behind them just to record Harry Styles in this fucking movie. And I'm like, no. So I leaned forward and I said, hey, just so you know, if I told the theater you were doing that, you would be fined for more money than you probably make in the next 2 years, and you'd have your phones taken away, and you might end up going to jail. And they're like, and they like put their phones down, and like probably thought some creepy 35-year-old dude yelled at them in the movie theater, and they got up and left.
They left in the middle.
They left in the middle of Dunkirk because I told them to stop recording Harry Styles.
Oh my god. How rude of you, Tyler. How dare you?
I know. So I guess the moral of the story here is, why do people go to movie theaters if they don't intend to actually watch the movie?
Yeah, I was at
Genuine
a movie.
question. Tweet us.
Yes, tweet or whatever, comment or something.
Why do you go to
What
the
did we
movies?
see? Oh, we went to see Hail Caesar, and halfway through, like half the theater almost got up.
It was
and
so
left.
weird. Yeah. Have you seen Hail Caesar?
No.
Dude, it's a
Great
hilarious
movie.
movie. It's
I've
so
heard that
good.
it's a Venom situation where like it got destroyed by a lot of people,
I don't get why.
I
And-
don't get it either.
and like it's
a ton
actually
of fun,
fun.
dude.
yeah,
It's so good.
It's great.
You like the Coen Brothers?
Yeah.
Dude, it's kind of like the Big Lebowski. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a ton of fun. It's ridiculous. Everyone's playing a really specific, weird character.
The costumes are fantastic.
It's a classic Coen Brothers comedy. Like, I would put it up there with all the other comedies that they've made. It's great,
Yeah,
right?
it's
But,
one of
like,
my favorites.
dude, like, one person at a time, halfway through the movie, like, people were just getting up and leaving.
And
And
they
they weren't
wouldn't
coming
come
back. Like, what? What? It's so weird. I was, like, in the Twilight Zone.
I
But at that same theater, a different time, I was there with just Garrett. And I don't remember what we were watching. I really don't. I'm trying to remember, and I can't. But it was an alright movie. It wasn't great. I remember not being like super into it either. But these two girls were sitting right next to me and Garrett, and they were on their phone the whole time. Like, they didn't even put it down once.
Nice.
They were on Snapchat. And they were Snapchatting their friends back and forth. And why are you looking at these girls' phones? It's hard to pay attention to the movie when they're blinding me with their phones.
Yeah.
They didn't even turn the goddamn brightness down.
Yeah, if you're
So
gonna
they're just-
fucking be a dick and be on your phone, you at least turn the screen down.
Yeah, so like they're on Snapchat the whole time, snapping their friends back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then about halfway through the movie, they just get up and left. And on the way out, Garrett was like, "I hope you enjoy Snapchatting. Have a great day." And they kind of like smirked and walked by, and I was like, "Garrett, you should have been way more mean to those girls." It was just,
I don't understand that mentality though. Like, so a lot of like the Dunkirk thing happened before MoviePass was really huge.
well, yeah, before it even existed, I think.
Maybe. And the AMC A-list wasn't a thing yet either.
No.
So we all paid to be watching Dunkirk.
Yeah.
We were watching it at the AMC in Burbank. That's a $16 movie ticket.
Yeah.
You spent $16 to sit on your ass, record Harry Styles for a little bit, and then leave.
Why?
I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, like, yes, so, like, when The Star is Born, this is, like, here's the thing. If the dude had A-list and you blew a thing, that's fine.
sure.
But that Dolby ticket is $22.
Yes.
This dude paid $22 to sit in A Star is Born for an hour.
And then maybe $40 on all the
drinks.
drinks that he bought.
Yeah, he had to have drank at least 3 drinks while they were there. Again, I'm not saying that drinking during a movie is bad. I've
No,
done it
not
a
at
couple
all.
times.
Fuck it.
It's a ton of
Fucking
fun.
It's
but like,
great.
but spent. So all I'm doing. The only reason I'm bringing that up is like for his total.
Mhm.
So let's say he spent $66, and if we round up with tips, if the dude tipped, it didn't seem like a tipper to me, but let's say he tipped, almost $70 to text in a comfy ass chair for an hour. Why? I don't get it. I just don't understand. I don't.
Just do that at home.
Yeah, man.
Seriously, like, I
Or
would
like
never...
go to a bar.
Exactly.
Where it's cheaper to drink.
Seriously. It's
What
like,
are you doing?
I'm in the industry, so like I want people to go see movies at theaters. I want people to, even if you buy A-list and you go and you just enjoy movies in the theater.
Yeah, because if you
But don't be a dick. It's like it's kind of similar to the whole like, why do you care about spoilers argument you get from people, and it's like, I will admit completely, I'm a big old nerd. I really get excited about this stuff. And most normal people do not get excited about this stuff to the level at which I do. Look at the podcast. I mean, Wyatt and I are... Katie May loves movies, but Wyatt and I are stupid, idiotic, over-the-top nerds about this stuff, and we'll never shut up. We will never shut up about movies
we
when we
just
get
like
excited. That's fine. It excites us. But why, if The thing that bothers me is when people are like, they don't feel the same level of so then my level of enjoyment is invalid. So, like, with the whole, like, talking about spoilers thing and not giving a shit about spoiling something.
I hate when people spoil.
It's the worst. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Just because you don't give a shit, don't ruin it for someone else.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Did I miss something growing up where it was where like kids were raised to think it was okay to be an asshole all the time?
When I was working in Culver City, you would just be like doing something, and you just, because I worked in retail, you would just hear somebody behind you like say a spoiler. It's like, fuck!
Yeah.
The hell, man? That's not
like,
cool.
There's etiquette about this shit. Like, you do not talk about big spoilers in public. Just don't do it.
Yeah. I don't know. And like, I brought all this up just because I didn't want people to think that I was being hard on A Star Is Born.
Sure.
Right? Because I will say, like, right now, I understand the hype it's getting. It deserves it. It's great. Bradley Cooper killed it. Lady Gaga, she's an actress. She's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it sucks that my experience had to be deterred just because of people being inconsiderate. You know what I mean? And
sure.
Was he supposed to have been sitting there? Yes, that is totally not the issue. It's that if I was in his situation and I showed up 20 some odd minutes late to a movie, I might consider not even seeing it at that point.
Because you missed a lot.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Above everything else, you missed a lot.
Yeah. So let's say I did decide to go ahead and see it and just go into the theater. I would have seen that everyone pushed in. It's like, oh, I wasn't here and everyone pushed in. Makes sense. I would just sit at the next row below and nobody would have been bothered by anything.
Yep.
And the way that these Dolby things are designed, you can't see anyone in front of you.
Sure.
You've been in the Dolby theater,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
It's like recliners connected to each other.
Yeah, but there's a wall.
Yep.
Right? So, and I'm pretty sure, this is just my guess, that they were made so that when people text, it doesn't bother the people behind them. So the dude could have been FaceTiming and I wouldn't have seen it, nobody would have seen it. But, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
So, yeah, moral of the story here is don't be an asshole when you're at the movies. People are there to watch movies.
It's crazy.
So, watch the movie.
Yeah.
Or, cut your losses and leave. You don't have to enjoy it. I wouldn't be mad at you if you walked out of some of my favorite movies. That's your opinion.
It's the same kind of thing of like people talking too loud on the bus.
Sure.
Or just like it's a form of being considerate in public.
Absolutely.
It's weird.
Yep.
It's weird that people don't get it. And it's funny that there are like 2 previews before movies start that say, don't turn on your phone.
Yep.
Silence your phone.
People don't listen to that shit.
Don't ruin the movie.
That shit doesn't apply to me. That applies to everybody else. What are you talking about?
It's so crazy though.
Yeah.
I've been in movies where people answer the phone.
Oh my god.
More than once, like I've been sitting behind someone and they answer the phone. And it's...
So my iPhone does this weird thing where like I turn it off. You watch me do it. I turn it off when the movie's starting, after all the previews, and I put it in my pocket. And sometimes it'll just turn back on, and I don't know why. I still haven't figured it out if it's just a my phone thing or an iPhone X thing. But I pull it out to make sure that all my alarms are off, and it's not going to go off in the middle of the movie. And like I feel awful when I do that, and I only have it out for maybe 4 seconds, and I feel terrible that I'm bothering everybody. Like, I cannot understand ever being in the headspace where I think that any phone call, like, on face value, without having any other prior information, is worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
at
yeah.
least leave. Like, get up and walk out.
The only time I've been with anyone who was, I would say, truly disruptive during the movie, and this is just a good way to end this discussion, is one of my good friend Katimae. He created the intro song for this year podcast, so and the logo, so we all owe him a great debt.
Hi, Katimae.
But I went to high school with Katimae as well as Tyler, but they went to different high schools. I went to high school with Katimae in San Jose, and Star Trek 2009 had come out, and we're in the theater, and the opening shot of that is we're pushing in on, I believe it was the USS, I don't remember what it was.
Something or other.
It was Chris Pine's ship, right? So, well, not Chris Pine's, Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth.
Too many Chris's! Anyway, Chris Hemsworth's ship, right? We're pushing in on it, and it's silent, but you can hear one of the distress signals, right? It's dead quiet in the theater. You can hear a pen drop,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear beep 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 beep. The Katimae had picked up on this, and he's 15, so he goes every time it goes. So he hears it the first time, and he was like, he just kind of laughed because he thought it was a goofy sound, I guess. I don't know. And then the second time when it went off, you could hear a pen drop, but you could also hear Katimae going beep 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 on top of the beep.
What an asshole!
And I was like, what? And I looked around to see who was doing it, because that's super out of character for him.
Yeah.
And I look over, and he's like trying so hard not to laugh. Like he's choking himself to death, trying not to laugh. And then it goes again. He goes, beep, 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 beep. I'm like, Eileen, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? It's so weird. And after the third time of Kivash going, beep, 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 with the movie, this man leans forward in between both of us and goes, so are you going to do that for the whole movie? And I was like, oh, I don't know, it's not me. Maybe. And then Kivash goes, no, sorry. And the guy leans back, and then he goes, beep, 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 beep. And I just looked, I was like, why you been a dick? It's so weird. He's never been a dick. That was the only time he'd ever been a dick. It was really weird. But anyway, don't do that either.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that at all. Is there any news you want to cover at all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got some things
we've already been
here.
talking for an hour, so.
Taika Waititi shows off some footage from the What We Do in the Shadows TV show. I said Taika Waititi and Katimae immediately looked away from the phone and smiled and was like, Taika? Taika made something? In 2014, he made a mockumentary called What We Do in the Shadows.
It's very good.
And in this interview, he actually describes how he came up with the characters, and it's hilarious. They were at an open mic night. Him and the guy from, I don't know how to say his name, Jermaine Clement, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Good job.
Good job. You did it.
I'm so smart.
The
guy from Flight of the Conchords. Anyway, they were together hanging out at an open mic, and Jermaine Clement gets up on stage and starts pretending to be a vampire and doing stand-up as a vampire. He just did it. He was like, I have an idea. I'm going to pretend to be a vampire and do vampire jokes. So he's up there doing vampire jokes, and then Taika Waititi goes to the back, also pretends to be a vampire, and starts heckling him as a vampire in his vampire voice. And so they're having a shouting match, two vampires, who pretend to be his vampire comedian rival.
Uh-huh.
And then they had the idea after that, these characters are fun, let's do a short film, which they spent about $200 on a short film, made that short film, and then that got made into the movie What We Do in the Shadows, which is pretty much what his career is sort of based on, other than the movie Boy. And now it's been picked up for a TV show, and at Comic-Con they showed some of the footage, and people are digging it. So I'm pumped, man.
Is he in it?
Nope.
Oh.
It takes place in New York City. This other one took place in New Zealand.
Got it.
He said there might be potential for crossover to see those characters at one point, but because it takes place in New York City, probably not going to happen at all.
Sure.
Which is
well,
fine.
it'd be cool to see him be able to just focus on writing it and making it really well.
and Jermaine Clement, they're behind the camera for this one on purpose.
Sure.
So
respect. That'll be fun.
So there's a movie coming out soon called The Hate You Give. The screenwriter of that also wrote Under the Tuscan Sun. She is dead now. She died at 58 years old.
Jesus, Wyatt.
I don't
you
know
gotta say it like that.
Fuck, man.
And she is dead.
Fuck, dude.
She died.
We don't have an outline. I wasn't prepared for that shit. God damn it.
The lady that
you get enough to walk that off?
Yes.
She did.
Anyway, so that movie will be coming out soon. The only reason I'm bringing it up is, she seems to be, she adapted the young adult novel. She's done a bunch of other movies as well, like The Truth About Cats and Dogs, George of the Jungle.
Wait, George of the Jungle?
Promise. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, so she wrote that. She had a really long battle with cancer, so it's very sad.
Yeah. Right. Well, rest in peace.
Yes, very
Looks
much.
like your movie is doing really, really well.
I wonder if that movie is going to get a lot of hype because of this. I don't want to say this so soon to this happening, but it's when this kind of thing happens, it only ever helps the movie. So a lot more people are going to see it now, I suppose. So.
I mean, we know it, but I don't think you should have said that.
Well, I said it.
I think it's fine.
We're going to shift gears real hard into the only other news I really have. There's this movie called Red Sonja is being made, and Bryan Singer is about to direct it, and we're going to talk about why that's a big deal after I give you the other piece of news. He might be getting paid about $10 million to make this movie.
What?
Mark Webb was paid $10 million to make 3 Spider-Man movies, and he only made 2. And this dude is getting paid $10 million to direct 1. He had to stop his work on Bohemian Rhapsody because he was accused and pretty much confirmed that he sexually assaulted more than one person. And he gets to worked for $10 million.
On Red Sonja.
Mm-hmm.
She's a fucking badass barbarian lady.
Yep.
Lady!
Yep.
Hollywood! God damn it!
So he's gonna make that movie. And here's the thing. You know what's crazy about that?
Oh,
Right?
there's more that's crazy?
You know what's really crazy? Is that during this whole Me Too movement, it shows that it really, like, it matters, and it kind of doesn't at the same time, because, you know, that happened. There were no more allegations against Bryan Singer than there were against Kevin Spacey. So why is Kevin Spacey being... they're both shitty people.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't get me wrong here. Why are we picking who gets to have a career and who doesn't? If they did the same thing. And if we're going to look at body of work, I would have rather had Kevin Spacey.
Well, I think it's because Kevin Spacey tried to be like, it's because I'm gay, that's why I'm a rapey.
Oh, yeah, Bryan Singer just rolled. It's like, yeah, I'm a raper.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
But it's nuts. it's crazy, right? And this news comes 2 days after Kavanaugh just got put into the Supreme Court.
No, fuck, man. I cannot imagine what it must be like to be a woman right now in America.
It's crazy.
All
this going on, and a dude at the gym this morning was wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat.
I know. Oh my god.
I just wanted to tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Listen, believe what you want to believe, but like poor timing with that one, man. Real poor timing." I feel like there are only days of the week you can wear that hat before something happens. It's like, I probably shouldn't wear it today, especially in California.
Seriously. Like, god damn it.
But news-wise, that's like all I had for news. If I'm being honest.
That's okay.
Just sad news.
Hey, man. Okay. I can't just report uplifting news. Let me Google uplifting movie.
Oh, well, James Wan responded to people criticizing the trailer for the, like, extended trailer. Yeah. About, like, how people were worried that it showed the whole movie.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, it makes me laugh that you guys think that was anywhere near scratching the surface.
Oh, and you know what? I had that on my actual outline. They released a 5-minute clip.
Yeah. Well, it's a 5-minute long trailer, and there's a big action sequence in the middle of it.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty much the whole sequence. I feel like there are bits taken out of it to make it shorter.
And I will say, I'm more interested in the movie now.
Dude, I've been shitting on this movie and the idea of this movie
since... Do you say sitting or shitting?
Shitting.
Oh, okay.
Shitting. But I would think I would have to sit to shit. So I'm going to go with both.
Yep.
But I've been sitting and shitting on this movie and the idea of this movie since I heard about it. And then I saw the trailer and I thought, wow, that looks bad.
Yep.
But dude, this 5-minute clip may have turned me around.
Seriously, because like...
It looks good.
I've always been
on
board for a good Aquaman movie because he gets a bad rap as a character. He really, really does.
Well, he's always just like hacked down to that goofy dude who
talks to
fish, but he doesn't even really talk.
Yeah.
My dream.
Your dream is to talk to fish?
Yeah, I love fucking under the sea things.
You love fucking under the sea things. You love grabbing a turtle and grinding on that fish.
I love things that happen under the sea. The little mermaid.
Yeah, like fucking things under the sea. Yeah.
The way you said it, I like fucking under the sea things.
Well, you said...
we
talked
like
about... No,
was the verb.
Sure, but also we were talking about being able to talk to fish, and you said, my dream. And then we're like, what? And then you said, I love fucking things under the sea. I'm like,
That's not what I meant. Which is funny, because I hate going into the ocean.
That's weird.
You hate the ocean?
Yes.
Why do you hate the ocean, man?
It scares me.
Why?
I don't know what's in it.
Fish.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, they're fish.
I don't trust it.
And some jellyfish.
I don't trust them.
Octopuses.
You don't know what else is down there?
Squids.
You know what else is down there? Megalodon.
Flashback to another good time we had this year.
That was a pretty alright movie.
Yeah.
Venom is way better than
Absolutely, it is.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, but basically, so he tweeted about it. This is James Wan's tweet. I'm going to read it verbatim.
Whoa.
Trailers contain spoilers by nature, so if you don't want anything spoiled, don't see it. But I can say this: this 5-minute trailer barely scratches the surface of the actual movie. So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
I hope he's not lying.
And they reveal the but really the OG Aquaman suit.
It looks so cool!
It looks awesome!
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks fantastic!
And you know what's funny is it just looks like a CG suit, and I've always been one to be like, dude, if you can make a real suit, why would you make a CG suit? The CG suit looks pretty
Fucking
good.
Momoa fills that shit out, though. Gotta say.
He's a badass. He's a total badass.
Oh, and Graham McTavish is in the trailer. That's fun.
Why do you like that guy?
He's great.
Okay.
He's a great voice actor. He's in the Hobbit movies, and he's like the only dwarf that I really like. He's cool. He's a cool guy.
Is he a dwarf in real life?
No.
Because I
He's like
that, I know
like
that he's
6'3".
not. Yeah, I know that he's not. But the way you made that sound was just like, yeah, and he's like the only dwarf that I like. Like you've met like 50 different dwarves,
And
you're
all
like,
of them.
you're all shitty people. Just this guy.
No, that's
Peter
not
Dinklage
the
is somewhere
case.
going like, hey man, I'm cool. But anyway, yeah, dwarf in the world of the Hobbit movies, he's a dwarf. But anyway, that's all the news that I had. Any more news, Tyler? Are we boring you?
No, I'm tired.
Okay. Well.
I've been Tyler.
I've been Katimae.
I've been Wyatt.
Midnight Masterminds is an entity belonging to the entertainment platform SCREENPLAY. You
It's
can
an
find
entity
this on.
belonging to the entity.
Yeah, you can find us. I'm tired, man. Cut me some slack.
Fuck.
You can find us on YouTube,
Yes.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much anywhere you want to that matters.
Just search S, the word vertical, and P,
Yeah,
and you'll find us.
absolutely.
We just had a new episode of Katimae Show Visual Cooking come out. Got a new What Happened coming out this week. So that'll be fun
look out for
you
that.
guys. Yeah.
Look out for that.
Do that shit.
The guy who makes those shows is kind of an asshole, but they're entertaining. So,
Tight.
yeah. Oh, and a $4 Friday is coming out.
Oh!
Wyatt, what is a $4 Friday?
$4 Fridays is great. So if you are a member on Patreon, and I'm so mad at people who aren't because it's only $1.
It's $1.
But anyway.
A whole month. You
Yeah.
spend $1.
If you spend $1, you have access to all this crazy shit. And here's one of the crazy shits. It's called $4 Fridays. It's when we go to a store that has a $4 movie bin. Could be any store, but we usually only go to one store because we know it has it. And we dip our hand in and we pull out a random movie and we watch and we give commentary on the movie. We will give you the movie title in advance. So you go and find your own version of the movie however you get it. Whether it's through Blu-ray or DVD or Vudu or where, I don't care.
Hoodoo.
And you line it up with us. It'll be like we're watching the movie with you. It's great. And the best part about it is that this week we did 3 episodes of the Goosebumps TV show from 1995. It's the worst show I've ever seen in my life. It's the best commentary I've ever given in my life. And I made the best discovery ever, the best thing that ever could have happened to me after we recorded it. It's on fucking Netflix, guys.
So you can just go watch it on Netflix.
Not only can you watch it on Netflix, get ready for about 1 million more commentaries. I'm going to watch every episode and record it for you guys. It's going to be so great.
For the month of October.
Dude, I don't care how long it's going to take.
And
We're
beyond.
doing it.
To get people hyped on the $4 Fridays, yeah, Wyatt and I are probably going to end up doing that.
It's going to be so great. Anyway, give $1 to Patreon. Download the $4 Fridays, and then, I don't know, dispute the charge or something. I just want you to listen to it. I don't even care about the Just want it to be out there.
Just dispute the charge if you want.
The $1.
And for this one in particular, we might release this one to everyone just to get people to know what it's
so
like.
you know what it is.
That being said, you won't be the rest of them if we end up doing them. We'll all be on
if
Patreon.
We're gonna release this one. If you don't want to wait, we're gonna release it later in the month. If you have that kind of patience, like if you can pay $1 to wait a month.
It'll probably come out before Halloween too, just so.
But what we are saying is that if we do any more, they also will not come out.
Yeah.
So the one time
this will
only
be the only one that we ever release to non-patrons.
You're welcome.
You're welcome for that. Yeah, and we do our best to make them fun. So even if you don't feel like finding the movie, like we're just talking the whole time and having fun. So like you might just enjoy it, listening to it without watching the movie.
Yeah, man.
That could be a weird thing you do.
Right.
What are you doing today, Stan? Oh, I'm listening to a movie commentary. Oh, what movie are you watching? Oh, I didn't say I was watching a movie. You're a weirdo, Stan. Get out of my house.
No, Stan's cool. Whoever that guy is that kicked Stan out of his house, I'm gonna shoot him in the head.
What do the kids say now? I stand.
Yeah, isn't that an Eminem thing?
I don't know.
What?
I'm so old.
What
I
the
just
hell?
hear the kids say it
Yeah,
all
I know.
the
I'm
time.
so.
What kids?
I'm
are
younger
you
than
in?
almost everybody I'm friends with, and I feel so old when I talk to them because I just am so outdated. But anyway, thank you for
Goodbye. Goodbye.